Hey, drone here. What's going on, guys? It's a little bit windy. I was kind of pointing over there. I don't know if you can see those flags whipping around. Definitely can see these trees whipping around. So it's my day off. Am I gonna sit inside and cry? No. We are gonna rock a faithful drone here, dude. This drone's like 3 years old. Mr. Old Faithful here. I do have some new dowel props on, 6x4.5. The older props were just chewed up. This thing's had a couple hard landings. It's been crashed once or twice. And as you can see over here, put my hands over the lights. This is how you should be taking off with this drone if you don't know it. All lights out. That means you're good to go. So we are going to start. We are going to be in GPS mode. We're going to get this away from that brush. Hopefully I put these propellers on right. Otherwise you're going to see a nosedive. And look, to all the haters, we're losing altitude a little. We'll put it up a little higher. We'll turn this way, have it nose down in the wind. Haters, where you at? Losing altitude just a little bit, but it's maintaining position. And actually, I think, which way is the wind blowing? It is, it's crosswind this way. So it's kind of fighting like that. It's sitting there. But this isn't a GPS hold review. This is a fly review. I actually want to fly this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit this back down and switch it out into altitude hold mode. And the way you do that is this switch on one, this switch on one. That is, that's non-GPS mode. And we're just gonna rip around with this a little bit. This is just a fun fly. I got a family function to do. Not really to do. I'm not doing nothing with it besides going. But I have a family function to go to. And I really just wanted to get out and fly. I might bring the trash can to the family function. It is a little bit windy, but I think in a backyard environment with a house behind it, we might be able to get a nice little fly. This thing's ripping. It's ripping. Big bird up there. Big bird up there. Easy there, easy. Come on back. Again, if you're flying in wind and you're flying with it, give yourself, look at that bird up there. Give yourself a little bit of time for the drone to throw on the brakes. Because if you're flying with the wind, it's going faster than it normally would. And to throw on the brakes against it is a little bit difficult. To fly into the wind, not with it, into it, no problems. You don't got to worry about that. You can throw on the brakes immediately because the wind's going to essentially help you throw on the brakes. I'm pretty sure I can switch into GPS mode while I'm flying without it bogging out. I know I've had this thing almost do a backflip when I've done it the other way, but we're going to go ahead, switch into GPS mode. We'll put it over here. That wind is heavy, man. Heavy. I don't know if the GPS is locking. I know I have GPS on this. There. What up, fanboys? DJI fanboys, where you at? It's rising in altitude a little bit, but dude, it's sitting there. And when I say it's windy out here, no joke, it's windy out here. You can probably hear it through my microphone. And the reason I leave that in there is so there's no assumptions of how windy it is. You can hear it, you can see it, it is super windy. I'm gonna try to bring this down just to get a look at it. Sun's over that way. Let's go ahead and turn the back end towards it. Now the back end will kind of sink down. This was the one that I had like the crab legs on, that I had the Walkera gimbal on. I just snipped them off today. And these props are doing well. I'm liking the props. Let's just. What up, Mr. Blue Eyes? What up, homie? Yeah, back out in the air. 3 years running strong. 3 years running strong. And again, what up? It's losing altitude. It's fluctuating, but it's staying in that spot. What up? What up? There's a lot of hate for this drone, and again, I think that's because of crosswind that it's jumping up and down like that. Because, yeah, the wind's now blowing this way. It was blowing this way. You can see the drone tilting. We're just going to go ahead and buzz around. It's windy out here. It's windy. windy out here. I let off of it. There's no speed brakes on this. It takes a little dragage for it to stop. We'll fly this way and let off the sticks. Little dragage, and then it caught, and it's staying. It's leaning this way against the wind until the wind decides to switch up this way. We had the largest city near me, which is only like 3 or 4 miles away. There's actually a hurricane that passed by, so we've been dealing with some pretty high weather. And again, you could probably hear it all up in the camera. So if you don't like wind, you're probably not gonna like this review. But if you like a tested drone, 3 years. This drone's been out there for 3 years. And I'm not talking about manufacturer, I'm talking about this exact drone has been flown for 3 years. I had a metal gimbal on it with a GoPro. I've had the wall carry gimbal on it. I've had AIO, and we sent it, stock controller, well over 1K. We've also put the Firefly underneath it. I'm pretty sure I put the Mobius underneath it. This is the nice drone. And I mean, this test that I'm doing with the wind, it's kind of settled down a little. You can see that tree still bucking. And again, look at it sit, look at it sit. Look, man, no hands. Dude, it's sitting there. I've had this out in sub-freezing weather with same wind conditions, about 20 mile an hour, and this thing sat like a champ. Sat like a champ. It's really a nice flyer. And it's reliable. It's extremely reliable. Myself, I don't like to rely on return to home. If I'm going to take it way out, I'm going to have an AIO on it. And I like to bring it back myself. My brother, on the other hand, he was a little bit of a nut when I hooked him up with a couple of these. And he would send it. He would send it out of line of sight, hit the return home, hope it came back, and it always came back. There are cases of these where they fly away. That's probably poor compass calibration, solar flares, something that's affected the drone, because I've never had an Aosenma fly away, and I have 3 of them that I fly, that I have in my personal arsenal. Look at this. Look at this. It's raising in altitude, but it's staying. GPS, it is staying right there. Bam, 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 bam. So this is definitely a hard-tried review of this drone, of an old one. This is an old one. This is not a black optical flow one of the newer ones. This is an old one. The new technology they put on the newer ones with optical flow, I don't understand it. Easy there, we're flying with it, come on now. That wind is just cooking. The ones with the optical flow, I don't understand it. Why do you need optical flow? What is the purpose of putting optical flow on that? You can see the wind, you can probably hear it, it's sitting right there. I don't think it's necessary. I don't understand why they did it. I don't. You should not try to improve on something that ain't broken. It's an old time saying, but don't fix it if it ain't broke. There ain't no reason to fix it if it ain't broke. I hear something to the left of me. Big bulldozer, that's what I hear. And again, we can look away and it sits there. It sits there. This does have follow me. This does have fixed point circling. Has all the bells and whistles, just no app. So you need to know your controller. You need to know your toggles, you need to know your switches, you need to know your controller. And again, I'm really demonstrating this GPS here. We'll bring it closer and not fly super fast with that wind. Otherwise the brakes are going to take a little bit hard to throw on here. I'm just going to bring this guy over here. No hands. No hands. Again, it's raising altitude. It's maintaining its position though. Its GPS coordinate. Whoop! Linear line to them satellites. Satellites locking in. It's locking within 0.5 left to right. Now we just maybe went a total 1, but within 0.5 left to right, and altitude's fluctuating because again we have wind coming back on the tail, coming back on the green light, so it's tilting backwards, the front end's up, and it's doing its job. It's doing its job really well. I'm not touching this. Dude, I don't know what else I can say about this drone. I probably have the most videos on this drone because I'm a real YouTuber. Not to say everybody else out there ain't real YouTubers, but there's a lot of not real YouTubers out there. There's a lot of I want that free drone YouTuber out there. There's a lot of sellouts out there. There's a lot of I'm not in it for my subs out there. I'm in it for the subs. I'm in it for the fun of it, and I'm in it for the long haul. 3 years. Who else is flying in Aosenma? Anybody? Is anybody still flying in Aosenma? Did they sell them? Are they just sitting on a shelf? What'd they do with them? Everybody had them. Everybody and their mother had them. And I still rock mine. I still hold true that this is my favorite drone. Again, I'm not touching the sticks. This is like a hardcore GPS review here. We'll go ahead and bring it down to eye level. Bring it down to blue eye level. What up, buddy? What up? There's the controller. There's the controller. There it is. Woo, I'm getting dizzy. I'm getting dizzy. I get dizzy quick, dude, and I'm not dude, I'm in my early 30s. I get super dizzy quick. Can't go on a lot of amusement rides anymore. Sucks. Really sucks. This thing gets great long flight times too. Excellent flight times this thing gets. And again, the control range, no modifications. It's drifting, it's drifting, it's drifting. Finally grabbed. The control range just off of the stock controller, it's pretty darn epic. It's pretty darn epic. Whoop! I know Mr. John Woodrow, the dude that I painted, I'd like to say the Cosmos, little Cosmos outer space type theme one. I did a multicolor overlay. It took me forever to paint. He said his is still flying strong, and I'm willing to bank that's 2 years, going on 3 years itself. That was when I was heavy into the Aosenmas. I used to sell them. I used to sell them all day for like 160. 160 tested. I don't sell them anymore, although my good friend Charles, I believe he's in the Caribbean islands, he asked me if I still had them, and I do. I still have a bunch of them in-house, and I didn't think they were all sale worthy just because maybe some are missing screws or whatnot. But I sold him 2 recently that were missing screws to the motor mounts, and I fired the motors. I looked at the drone over, it looked good, and I hooked him up. So I mean, I still got them, but I'm not heavy selling them anymore. There is a program for this. I think I did a video on this. There is a program where you can connect this to the computer. You can adjust settings. You can actually calibrate this if you needed to on the computer, kind of like Betaflight, but a lot more generic. It doesn't go in depth as Betaflight does. She's flying, we can fly forever and let J. Joan Jabba Joe. J. Joan. J-J-O-N-E? J. Drone Jabba Joe. J. Joan Jabba Joe? Jabba Joe. This is enjoyable for me. Just out here buzzing around, even with this wind. The audio is probably horrible. I know somebody's going to say, get a dead cat on that. Put a piece of foam over your microphone. I don't like hearing that sound. Well, dude, I'm real. Again, I am real. I'm not trying to be a synthetic YouTuber. No, this is real, uncut. I mean, as we got close up to it before, I did stop the video. So there's going to be 2 pieces of video that are seamed together. Hopefully it's seamless and you didn't even notice it. But this is raw, uncut, unedited. Me flying, I'm recording. Look at that bird, dude. Look at that bird. It's right there. It's a big bird. It's probably a turkey vulture. Buzzard. Look at him. Okay, so we're getting beeping on this. Whoa, easy, easy. I wasn't watching it. I was looking at my beeping. So we'll go ahead and land it. And I forget. I always forget the LED to the right. I'm not sure if that's the controller's battery, no, it's the drone. My backlights are blinking red. So we had like 3-4 minutes on the first cut before I pressed it when we had it up and close. And now we are sitting at 10 minutes, 14-minute flight. Roughly a 14-minute flight, give or take, maybe a 13-minute flight. Battery wasn't freshly charged. I had that battery charged for like 5 days and just decided we'd get out today. And again, you can see it has shut off, so we could definitely run this a little bit more. And just to prove it, and go ahead and go up again. That's just like with racing drones, there's a draw on the battery. Like right now, my LEDs in the back, we'll just walk over to it. My LEDs in the back are green, so that's like a sag in the battery where it's really working, pushing against her, really buzzing around, and the voltage dropped below where the LVC kicked off. Guaranteed if we go ahead and buzz around, we'll probably get that again. Let's do some light funnels here. Push hard against that wind. So yeah, this thing's getting a solid 14-minute flight, especially if you push the battery. I really have no reason to push this battery like this, just to prove a point, just to show you exactly what I was talking about. Because those lights were red in the back, that was an indicator that voltage, and again, it takes a little while, especially with the wind pushing it, for the brakes to go on. There we go. So we're gonna bring it down. I don't want this doing a return home to myself. I don't need that, it's right here. And we'll shut it down. Shut it down, and guaranteed if we let this sit again and the voltage comes back up, it'll probably stop beeping as it just did. So that's just, it's just a draw on it. If it wasn't really windy out here, we probably would have got a better flight time. Not that we got a bad flight time, guys. I'm J Drone. If you haven't subscribed, smash the subscribe button. Mr. Blue Eyes, 3 years running. Most hated, most underrated. Go get you one. Appreciate it. Later.